Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. We're here again one more time. Wednesday Wealth, Generational Wealth. We have a great guest on the show today. This is the start of a new year, 2022. This is our first broadcast. Once again, if you have been following us over the past 6 months, you have gotten a wealth of information on how to eat, how to live, finances, businesses, wealth in our community. Today, we're going to be having a guest on our show today that I look up to. I was around him when he first started his company. A lot of people have, as I begin to talk about bringing this individual on, they was like, hey, you guys overlap. And as I began to think about it, me and him been brothers before we even did this. So as he started to grow his business, I was growing mine, and Willie has done great. I always say that we must begin to network with ourselves before we can network with anybody else, because the cavalry is not coming. The creek then rose, and the levee has really given way. It's up to us to save us. 2022 is the year that we are going to take over our own communities and give back. Today, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get into it. People are starting to send questions. This guy here, a businessman, my brother, I was around him when he didn't have all these things, and there's been a lot of questions. So without any further ado, he's going to bring the heat tonight. I am so glad. Not only is I think of him highly in business, but I also think so highly of him. This is our first show in 2022. First show in 2022. A lot of people have made some goals. A lot of people are ready to do something big. Follow him. Follow him, and he'll get you to where you want to go. Without any further ado, I want to bring on Willie. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, man? I'm good. I can't complain. Ain't nobody listening, no way.
Ain't nobody listening. I'm listening to you. I'm following you. I'm listening to you. So, Willie, let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about you. Before, I got some questions to ask, but I want you to tell the people a little bit about what you do, a little bit about yourself and your journey to get to where we're at today.
So I am Willie Dynamite. My real name is Willie Viverette, but everybody knows me as Willie Dynamite, so it just kind of stuck. You know what I'm saying? I'm rolling with it. So I grew up, my mom got killed when I was 2 years old. She got shot in the head, abusive relationship. And then I went and moved with my grandfather until I was 14. My grandfather died when I was 14, and I basically was being bounced around from home to home. I've been homeless before. I went days without eating. And a lot of times when that was going on, what I've learned was nobody's going to save you, and you feel like that you should have somebody to at least depend on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nice to have somebody to depend on, but nobody's obligated to be there. Not even your mother and your father, especially if you're grown, So that was a lesson that I had to grab at a young age. And from there, I just started to build myself up. And I jumped right into real estate. And, I was like, I wanted to buy my first house. If I feel like I can get me a house, nobody can kick me out. That's the worst case. I got somewhere to stay, and I like that feeling. And I bought my first house when I was 24 years old. I didn't have a mortgage. I bought it cash.
Hold up, y'all. He said he was how old?
24 years old.
20 what?
24.
24. So you ain't got to wait until you're 30 or 40 or even 50. You can get it when you're 24. Calvary ain't coming. Creek and Rose, levied and gave way. It's up to you to save you. 24. Okay, keep going, Willie.
So I bought it when I was 24. And I just like the feeling of it because I come from a family where nobody in my family owns anything. What? Nobody has good credit. Nobody owns, everybody at least got one person that owns something. One, old uncle, successful in the stock market, an uncle that's a realtor, uncle that's a mortgage broker, an uncle with a 850 credit score that can pull you to the side and be like, hey, this is how you're supposed to do it. Mm-hmm. I didn't have none of that in my family. So there was no reference point for me to go to. And I just started digging into like books. I'll never forget it. DJ Marcus Wayne, prominent DJ here in Indy, used to work for Hot 96. We was all at the radio station. Me, him, my best friend B Swift, and I think DJ Duck was there. And DJ Marcus Wayne was like, I'm gonna have $1 million by the time I retire.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody else just kind of like blew it off, like, yeah, that's what's up. So then, you know, me, I'm like, hey, so like, how you gonna get this million? He said, meet me at the bookstore,
What?
3 o'clock tomorrow.
He didn't
This
say
is
at the
when,
bank. He say at the bank.
huh?
He didn't say at the bank.
No, he said, meet me at the bookstore at
Bank.
3
Okay.
o'clock tomorrow.
All right.
And I went there and he was already there because I showed up a little early. He was like, man, I can't believe you came. He picked out 3 books for me. I still got them in there. This was about like '04. He picked me out The Richest Man in Babylon, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and The Guide to Getting Rich Without Cutting Up Your Credit Cards, also up under the Rich Dad brand. And I read it, and I just took what I read and actually applied it. Like I was starting from zero. Like everybody watching this probably had more real estate knowledge than me when I bought my first house. So took my savings, said I wanted to buy a house, and you know I found something, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? And from there, I ended up losing that house. I lost my very first house to foreclosure, and my second house I lost to taxes. So those was like, it was like a high, and then it was like a boom. I was like, dang. So I had to start all the way over, man, from scratch, and you know, go back and get my first property. I always told myself that if I can just get enough money to get me another property, I'll be good. You know, and then, you know, from there, I just kind of like snowballed it.
Wow. So I want my audience to know this is a guy. He went through a family trauma. He didn't use that as an excuse. No mom, dad wasn't around. Grandpa came in. 14 years old, bam, gone. He out here is him against the world. Once again, brothers and sisters, it's all about what you allow yourself to believe. He believed in himself. He bet on himself. So all of this notion that you're in survival mode and you got to do it a certain way and you got to be like this, those things go straight out the door. Because here we see that you are trying by betting on yourself. Not saying that it was going to be successful, not saying it wasn't, but you bet on yourself. Okay. And then that brings him to today. Okay. He didn't talk about today. I met Willie, and when I met Willie, he was reading books. That's what we was laughing at him about. We was laughing at him. We came to one of his houses, I think. And it was me and another friend of mine. He was the realtor and I was a mortgage broker. And Willie was in there reading books back then. And we was like his bigger brothers back then. And he was like, man, I remember telling him, I was like, man, what you read? He was like, I'm reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I'm reading this. And he said, you see all these books? I haven't read them yet, but I'm going to read them. And I was like, yeah, right, whatever. Fast forward it. Here we are today when he is talking about stocks. Tell me this, Willie. Why did you create, and I know this is one of your companies, why did you create the Wealth Factor? Your company.
Well, if anybody knows me back in the days, y'all know I used to work at Bentley's, and I used to just complain about, like, you know, black people is at a disadvantage. They won't give us nothing. People need to invest. And then somebody said, well, if you think people should need to invest, then you should teach them.
There you go. Bet on yourself.
Calvin, and it was like,
creek them rolls, let it give away.
Okay. You know, so I started to drop a little bit of gems about the crypto space. I've been in crypto since 2017.
2017, y'all.
So I was dropping little gems in the crypto space.
Not 2022 when everybody's getting on the bandwagon. You was in it back in 2017 as a hobby almost. Okay.
So I was investing into the crypto space. And I would do live videos, and you know, I would just share my thoughts and opinions with everybody else. I'm like, you need to buy this. You know, this is another way that you can create generational wealth. You know, it's going to be the future and stuff like that. And the crypto market dropped because I got into XRP, and then the crypto market dropped. XRP got down to 15 cents, and I was like, dang, it just dropped. So I kept what I had. But then that's when I hit the real estate back hard, because that's when I got into wholesaling and finding off market deals and stuff like that. So I went that direction, and, you know, about the crib, you know, started fixing it up and everything. And, that was going good. I'm still doing it. And then 2020 happened. Everything, stock market crashed. Unemployment was 40 million, over 40 million people was unemployed. You seen companies like Microsoft cut in half, Apple cut in half, Amazon cut in half.
Okay.
PayPal was what, $80 then, $70, got down to $70 during the pandemic. So all of these blue chip companies, these blue chip stocks was cut in half. When I say in half, I mean that literally. Amazon was 1,600, Apple was $48. PayPal was like $70. So I seen that as an opportunity in the stock market. So that's when I said, okay, let me get a few dollars and put it in the stock market. And it's weird because it was like I knew what this moment was, but everybody else didn't know. They were still in the panic. The world is ending, buy up all the food like it was Y2K, buy all the toilet paper, the hand sanitizer, the bleach. So I'm like, do people know that Apple was $49? And this is how wealth is created. By the way, 2020, right now, we're still going through it. This will be the biggest wealth transfer in history. You can go back for it. This even beats out the Great Depression. 2020 beat out the Great Depression.
Wow. So you think it will?
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, it's not. I don't think the. Well, I will say this: as far as the rebound from the Great Depression and the rebound from 2020, it's crazy. The rebound has been crazy. All stocks, you doubled your money in a year in the stock market, versus the Great Depression. Coming out of that, it was gradual growth, which is still good. But from 2020 to like today, you would have doubled your money. So in 2020, Apple was $49. Today, Apple is $168. And we only talking a year and a half.
Wow, 49 to 168. See, once again, Willie, in our community, this is what we don't talk about. We make excuses for what we're not doing. One, you started off. Where did you start? You didn't have a blueprint. You didn't have nobody pulling you to a side and saying, "Hey, Dad, Mom, this is what you need to do." You grabbed a hold to a guy who told you to meet you at the library, not at the car dealership, not at the jewelry store, not at the local bar where you can go and pick up a young lady and lose all of your money and not bet on yourself. You were trying to better yourself. You're talking about investing in the real estate. You're talking about investing in the stocks. But all of those things you have to invest into yourself with reading those books first.
I agree.
That's where the disconnect is. So, Willie, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions because these people are starting to ask me questions. So I got a question. What do you think are some of the challenges in our community when it talks about generational wealth? It's almost like a taboo. Why?
I mean, where do we start? I always look at it, and I've always said this, and this is an unpopular opinion too, so you might get some people to unfollow you, but this is the truth.
Okay.
This is the truth. When we talk about the Black community, it's a lot of problems. Okay. It's, for me, just in my opinion, the first is the lack of family.
Okay.
The first is the lack of family because generational wealth is created. It's created through family first. Now, when I say that, I mean that you have the mother, you have the father, and you have all the kids in the same household. Okay. What that does is that allows you two incomes in one house.
Okay.
And if y'all don't go crazy on liabilities, you can use one person's income to pay the bills, and you can use the other person's income to invest into the stock market, into the S&P 500, in the real estate, building your credit, investing in the gold and silver, investing into bonds, cash flowing properties. So now you're living off of 50% of your income. It's easy for you. It's easy to build wealth. Building wealth is really easy. Okay. It's really, and when I say easy, I mean for as like the to do, what you got to do. That's easy. The hardest part is when people feel like they gotta have that Starbucks every day. They feel like they gotta go out to eat every day. They feel like they got to go shopping. They got to go to the club every day, because anybody can say, you know what? If I hit the lotto for, $5 million, this is what I would do. That money will last me forever. But when that money actually get in your hand, all of that stuff that they said they was gonna do is gone. I know a lot of people that have hit the lot, not a lot, but I know a few people that have hit the lottery and went broke within 5 years. So how do you hit the lottery and go broke within 5 years? That's because your habits didn't change. You had all the money, but you still had the same habits. So if you don't change your habits, then the money ain't gonna make a difference. And that goes for the people that hit the lotto and the people that started from ground zero. You gotta be able to change your habits. So I say it starts with that right there. Because if you got two people that split up, guess what you got? You got one rent over here, one rent over here, one light bill over here, one light bill over here, one cable phone and internet over here, one cable phone and internet over here. You got one phone over here, you got one phone over here. So it's going to be like it's going to weigh down on you. It's going to be hard to create generational wealth without family. Not saying it's not impossible. Don't get it twisted. But if you do a better job in keeping that family structure together, you're going to sail off into the sunset. Easy.
Well, so you're saying, so we're talking about generational wealth, and you hit a good topic, Willie, because you're saying that, buying a good husband or a good wife, build your empire together, and start right where you're at, right?
For sure. That's the easiest.
The easiest way to do it.
That's the easy. You know how, like, when you see all the people running track and then they hit the gun, pow, and everybody take off running. Well, basically, when they hit the gun, you're able to take off running with everybody else. But if you don't have that, they gonna hit the gun, pow, and you gotta wait 5 seconds before you start running.
Whoa. Okay.
You said.
Remember, this guy, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is speaking from experience. He created the wealth factor. This is what he does for a living. He has inspired multiple people, thousands of people, to just talking about generational wealth. And what he's telling us is that the habits that we have, who we're dating, who we're going to date, who we're going to marry, we're talking about generational wealth. He broke it down. He said, listen, if you have two people in one house and if one person makes $1,000 and the other one makes $1,000, you have a choice at that particular time to have it under one roof or two roofs. If you have it under one roof, you got $250 payment. You have a $500 a $500 house payment, car payment. Y'all sharing everything. You can take one of them and one of those checks and put it back, right? Or you can say, I got $1,000. That $500 goes to rent. $500 goes to rent, so you're actually paying $1,000. So those decisions that you make is going to be dictative of what you're doing. We ain't even started talking about the kids yet. Okay, we haven't even started talking about the kids yet.
Right.
One of the things that Willie is bringing out, he said, when we're talking about creating generational wealth, these are the hard things that we don't talk about. Who we're dating, who we're marrying. There's billionaires, Michael Jordan, different people. They went through divorce, but their income didn't send them to the poorhouse. But if they would have been all in, it would have been different.
I would have been a rap. It's been a big rap.
And I'm thinking of some of the celebrities that have stayed married, because we're living in we need to see people. Well, we're not doing it in the time where you have, because you wanted to make it. Most of the people that I talk to, they want to see it first. Show me first, and then I'll do it. Well, guess what? If I got to show you, I always tell people, if I got to show you, just like the stock market, if you knew what the stock was going to be 2 years from now, guess what?
Right.
So as you figure it out, I'm going to charge you a little bit more. So that's that. So Willie, tell me this: what does your day consist of when you're talking about generational wealth? What do you do? Because I'm trying to give the people some habits that they can pick up on from somebody who's doing it. A lot of times when we're telling people to change or to create some good habits, we show them the end product. I call it the Michael Jordan syndrome. Everybody want to be like Mike Willie, but don't nobody want to give up what Mike had to give up to get to where he's at.
Right.
Okay? It's almost like the Navy SEALs say, everybody want to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to die. So everybody want that generational wealth, but they don't want to put forth that effort. What is some of the things, and me and you have talked about it, what are some of the things that you do to make sure that you create those good habits? What are some of the habits that you do?
Well, anytime that I'm short on money and I need money, my brain doesn't say, go get a part-time job, go get a job. It's my brain. I don't even take my brain there, even though I could go get a really good job. You know what I'm saying? And almost name my pay. But anytime that I need money, I'm thinking passive and portfolio income. That's what I'm thinking. If I need money, I got to figure out a way to create passive and portfolio income. I'm not going to get 2 and 3 jobs, because 2 jobs is for 2 people. 3 jobs is for 3 people. 4 jobs for 4 people. So you will never get out of the rat race like that, because when you open up your check, they keeping half of your check, versus when you have passive and portfolio income, you're keeping majority of their money. You don't believe me? The next time anybody's watching this, the next time y'all go get paid, open up your check. The state done got paid, the federal done got paid, your medical done got paid. Everybody has gotten paid, and you're the last to get paid when you open up your paycheck, versus when you collect rent, or when you get gains from the stock market, you're the first to get paid. So when you collect rent, you can say, okay, I got this $1,100 for the year, and then this is what it adds up to. But then this jacket is a write-off. I had a business meeting at Roof Chris. That's a write-off.
Whoa.
I gotta.
You went to Roof Chris and you got the government to pay you?
For sure. Yeah, because I gotta eat good. That's a business meeting.
Okay, so you gotta eat at Roof Chris. So
you can eat where you want to eat, but this is where I choose. You can choose wherever you want to choose, but this is what I choose.
Well, hold up, Dad. I want my audience to realize this. You're going to Roof Chris anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So why not go to Roof Chris and have the government pay you for going for a business dinner?
Yes.
Because once again, remember, audience, I want y'all to understand, this is a young man, a brother, a businessman who did not have everything handed to him. There is no free lunch. The cavalry ain't coming. The creek, the rolls, and the levee is giving way. He had to figure it out. And how did he figure it out? Reading books, going around the right people, going around people who is investing into him. This is how you win. I brought people on 2022, Willie. I said I want to bring people on here that are winners. Yep. This is how you win. He didn't make no excuse. Mom died of gunshot wound, domestic violence.
Mm-hmm. She shot in the head.
So he could have gave up then, right? Nope. We went to live with grandpa. Most of us go live with our grandparents. We're solid. Guess what? Grandpa gone now. 14 years old. He could have went on the wrong path then. He still not went down that path. Now he's telling us how he created the wealth factor. He said he was talking to a young man in the bar. He was trying to tell him about encouraging him, just trying to encourage. Guess what happened? The young man said, listen, man, you doing all this talking. Why don't you go out and start talking and giving it to the people? And look at what we have today. We have Willie Dynamite educating millions of people on the internet talking about wealth and generational wealth. And now we're saying, a lot of our young black men, Willie, they say, well, I don't have no role models. I don't have no examples. The deck is stacked against me. I don't think it's stacked more than what it was stacked against you. Okay? Yes. And you just didn't make no excuses.
I always say that anytime any of my friends know this about me, anytime I'm around and they're complaining about something, I said, bro, my mama died when I was 2 years old. I didn't meet my dad till I was 26. I ain't got no sisters and brothers. I'd have been homeless. I went 8 days without eating. I said, if anybody's going to be complaining, it's going to be me. But I ain't complaining. So ain't nobody else got no room to complain, because no matter how bad your day go, you're able to go to sleep with a roof over your head and drive a car, and you're able to get up the next day and give it another go. Every day ain't gonna be a home run. You ain't gonna be Babe Ruth every day. But if you consistent, get up every day and work on your dreams and your goals and what you want to accomplish. I don't care what it is. It can be whatever you want it to be. But if you get up and work at it every day, see, this is what success is. This is my opinion. Success and determination is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm.
Wow. Did y'all catch that? Success, what Willie Dynamite just defined it as, success is not the Bentley. It's not the car. It's not the house. It's not the bling bling. You know, it's not this. It's not the rolling. It's not none of that. It is you failing and being able to get back up time after time after time again without making excuses. The cavalry is not coming. The creek is rose and the levee is giving way. It's up to you to save you. You know, everybody's been dealt with something. But what do you do? How do you overcome it? Willie's talking about, he's giving us examples on how you can go and create a business. He said, listen, at 24 years old, he said he's bought his first piece of real estate. He could have went out and bought his first car, but he went out and bought his first piece of real estate. He could have went out and bought a Jag and had all the ladies lined up around the corner.
Hey, you can't live in a Jag, man.
You can't live in it. Some people do, Willie. Some people
I know.
do.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They attempted, but they attempted, but you can't.
But what he did is he had enough unction to get something that would not, as soon as he purchased it, drive it off the lot and go down in value. Okay, we're making light of it, but brothers and sisters, there's no reason why we can't bet on ourselves and invest into ourselves. Okay, one of the things that Willie said, he went out and bought stocks. Okay, and then he gave us some reasons of why he went out and bought stocks. Once again, he's betting on himself that those stock prices are going to go up. Okay, what time do you get up in the morning, Willie?
To be honest, I probably get up at like 10.
10.
Probably get up but I go to sleep at like 3 to 4. I'm working on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I just be up, so many ideas be running, and I just be up doing research or looking at my website or looking what can be fixed and looking where I can improve on what I'm doing. I just be like looking at everything, man. So it's just, I be up. Sometimes I'll get to sleep around 12. And then if I go to sleep at 12, well, I've normally been, for a while, I've been waking up at like 8. I've been waking up at like 8 because I like to get up before the market opens to kind of like see what the stock market is doing before the bell rings.
That's it. So that's why I asked Willie the question, because we talked about it. See, while everybody is trying to figure it out, Willie has already figured it out. Okay. So with that being said, Willie, tell me about the Viverette ties and the other businesses that you have.
So to be honest with you, like completely honest, I was like, and actually it's this one right here. I had this in my brain and I was like, if I had this tie to go with this outfit, man, it would kill it. And got on Amazon, I got on Macy's. It wasn't in existence. So then a little voice in my head say, why don't you create it? I was like, all right. So I started the process and I got it and I just randomly wore it to the club. Everybody was like, dang, I like that bow tie, man. Where you get that? I was like, I created it. They was like, you gonna have it for sale? I was like, yeah. Okay, yeah, fine. So, you know, I love fashion. Anything fashion, textures, different patterns, camos, zebra prints, giraffe prints, polka dot paisley prints, plaid, like stripes. I love everything fashion, everything
fashion. So what did you do to invest into your fashion dreams once you realized that that's something that you wanted to do?
So I just saved up. I saved up the money. I got the amount of what it would take to make it happen, and you know, going back and forth with the manufacturer, getting samples, tweaking different stuff, and going back and forth. And then once I finally got a finished product, then I just ordered. I ordered like a bunch of ties and created the website. Literally, I got on Wix.com, and Wix websites is like for the premium site, it's like $200 for the year. You know what I'm saying? I created the website, connected the payment method, and connected my Facebook and Instagram account and started putting the word out there. That was it.
Did you have to travel any? Because I'm getting at something too, Willie. Not only did you create your website, not only are you took another idea based on your environment, created another idea to monetize it, but then you also went to a certain place. Where did you go?
I went to Paris.
Okay, hold on, stop right there. A brother who didn't have nothing went to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Now you grew up in the hood, right?
Yeah.
In the inner city. No, you grew up where everybody had silver spoons and gold spoons.
Nah, I went to 113, 42nd and Post.
Whoa,
I grew up over there.
You came out of that part of the town?
That part, I stayed in Howville with my grandmother. I stayed in Wrightwood with my auntie.
I might have to ban you from my show now, Willie, because
don't ban me. Don't ban me.
Okay. You going over there to Howville. Once again, for those who feel like, hey, I gotta have everything lined up. I'm in survival mode. Okay, I hear that all the time. People that say they want stuff for free, Willie, I run from them because ain't nothing free. Ain't nothing free.
Yeah.
I hear so many people talking about grants. I hear so many people talking about government assistance. I got to get this, and we need reparations. It's up to you to save you. You got to start betting on yourself. Now, I'm not against grants and all that stuff, but every single time you have certain people that have excuses talking about what's the latest thing that the government can give you. Here you are. You done it. You didn't create real estate. You didn't create stocks. And I don't think there's no grants for those, right?
No. I ain't got no grants. Somebody let me know. I ain't got one.
So you didn't create real estate. You didn't create stocks. You doing River ties. Then you say you go overseas to where?
Paris.
Now, why did you go to Paris?
To be honest with you, so when I was launching my bow tie brand, I reached out to a couple of people because I knew like how to dress nice, but I didn't know the behind the scenes of fashion. And I reached out to some people. I'm like, well, who do you get to create this? And like, who do you contact? They kind of looked at me like, I ain't giving you my plug. I was like, I guess everybody ain't me. So I was like, nobody owes me nothing. I went in Google, I typed in, what are the top 3 places for fashion? Let me start there. I don't know what I'm doing when I get there. I just know that I'm going to go. And
okay, hold on, Willie. You did. Now, this guy, I want y'all to understand, audience, this guy grew up without a mother, father, in the streets, homeless, and he still has his right mind to not get on government assistance, get in survival mode. Says, I'm going to take my own ideas. I'm going to bet on myself. The cavalry ain't coming. The creek has rose. The levee has given way. It's up to us to save us now.
Right.
It's up to me to save me. I can't depend on Cepeda Jackson to save me. I got to save myself. I can't depend on a female to save me. I got to save myself. I can't depend on Uncle Doolittle to save me. I got to save myself. So this is what we're talking about. If you just allow yourself to take a deep breath and deep breath out, you can make it. We're here to tell you that you can make it. That's why I brought Willie on. It's starting off in 2022. I've always been impressed with his testimony. This is why we need to create our own in our own community. Willie is telling us you might not have all the things that you might have wanted, that everybody else might have had. You got to bet on yourself. You have to create the opportunity and believe in what you're doing. He went from Hogville to where you go now? Paris. Hogville, Paris. That's a book. Don't you try to write it. I know you're going to write it before I do, and I ain't going to be able to collateralize on it. But he went from Hogville to Paris. How did that happen? What did it look like? What even gave you the idea that Paris is the place that you want to go? And tell me, how did you finance it?
So when I went to Paris, like I said, I just Googled what's the top 3 fashion markets in the world. It was Paris, it was Italy, Milan, Italy, which is on the calendar for this year, Paris, Milan, and New York. So I was like, I'm booking Paris today. And I booked it. But when I booked it, the trip was also free too. I didn't pay for the flight. It
How
was
did you get
free.
it for free? How did you get it for free, Will?
So
You use that word that I run from. What is that? What do you do?
I know you run from it, but
Tell me
it's
what you
free. It's free, but this is legit free.
did. Okay.
So I got the Platinum American Express. You familiar with the credit card?
Stop right there.
Okay.
Stop right there. It wasn't free. He paid for it by maximizing his talent. It wasn't free. Okay? He paid for it by using, my grandmother used to say, use that thing that's between your two ears and then you can get something done. Remember that. Use that thing between your two ears, then you can get something done. What he did is he used a credit card that had rewards. And that's how he was able to get it. He used the system that was there. He didn't ask for a handout. That means he had to go and buy some from Ruth Chris, put it on that credit card, okay? And they gave him about a quarter of a point. And then over a period of time, he was able to pay for something that he really needed to do to help his business. And guess what? He didn't go to Florida and sip on some Mai-Mais and all of that stuff. He went to bet on himself again. Keep going, Willie.
Well, actually, I didn't even buy anything with it. What I did was they gave me 100,000 travel points after I used $5,000 in 3 months. And within those 3 months, I just paid the bills that I pay anyway. But instead of using the cash, I just used the card and put the cash to the side to pay the card off in full when I got the bill. So I paid my rent with it. I paid my car insurance with it.
Stuff that you automatically got to do anyway.
Yeah, I got to do it anyway.
So it wasn't free. You just use that thing like your grandmama said.
Yeah.
Use that thing between your two ears and you can get something done, right?
Yep.
Keep going. Once again, the cavalry ain't coming, y'all. Y'all want to learn how to run a business, how you can get to Paris, quote, 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 how you can get to Paris and bet on yourself, get your opportunities. Quit getting out of that survival mode. I hear too many people say there's no opportunities in the Black community. Here it is. This is a guy who did it. He's doing it. Keep going.
Well, I was so I want to finish this and then I kind of want to rebuttal what you said. So when I got those points, they gave me 100,000 travel points, and round trip to Paris costed me. It costed me 80,000 travel points.
Okay.
So I took the 80,000 travel points from the 100,000, and I think I had to pay the taxes. Taxes was like $64 round trip to Paris.
Round trip, man. That's more than that's about 2 Big Macs. 3
Basically.
Big Macs.
So I went to Paris and I was able to visit like a bunch of different spots. I went to fashion shows and I seen like fashion in Paris. I absolutely love Paris too, by the way. I absolutely loved it. Wow. But they kind of like gave me some inspiration as far as what I'm doing, because here I am, these people that didn't want to help me when I reached out, but now I'm in Paris and I done more than what they've done, and they didn't want to help me. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So I absolutely loved it. Paris has been on my list since I was a little kid.
Wow. So once again, you're not asking for a handout. You're not even asking for a hand up. You don't even have your hand out. You're walking with your 2 feet. You're walking into what you want to do. And this is what we want to encourage. If you have an idea, you can make it happen by betting on yourself.
So
you can do it.
So 2 things. One, I now have 400,000 travel points.
Wow.
I now have 400,000 travel points. I probably ain't gonna have to pay for a flight until like 2024.
Wow.
Right now.
Yeah. And he's doing it off of the bills that he's paying. You can sign up for the Wealth Factor. I'm going to put his number down there. Sign up for the Wealth Factor. Guess what you can do? You can learn how Willie did it.
Yeah.
You can learn. If you are wanting to get to the wealth and you want to learn how to create wealth, this is a place where you can do it. Willie is an example. His testimony. You ain't got to have a parent with two parent homes and all those type of things because he come from the bottom. You can't. You necessarily don't have to live in the suburbs of Indianapolis or wherever you're at. You don't have to live in the suburbs. You can be in the hood. This guy has went from Hogville to Paris and back.
So to add to in the second point, whenever people are around me that's making excuses, I don't do no excuses, because right now nobody's stopping them from going to the surplus sale. Nobody's stopping them from going to the tax sale. Nobody's stopping them from opening up a Robinhood account and investing in the Apple or Amazon or, or whatever they want to invest in. Nobody's stopping them from building their credit. Nobody's controlling their money. It's just when they get paid, they want to do what they want to do. And I get that. I respect it, because you work for it, you do what you want to do with it. But just don't say that you can't do it. Just say that you don't want to do it.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Once again, this is how we start off our show. The cavalry is not coming. The creek has rolled. The levee is giving way. It's too much pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you to save you. You can't expect somebody to save you. What we can do is give you the tools and bet on yourself, to encourage you to bet on yourself. There's so many opportunities in our community. We don't have to go outside of our community. Willie did this inside of our community. This brother went to Veritas inside of our community. I don't see him having a shop out in the suburbs. I don't hear about, he got a house in our community. He did it at 24. He didn't have to wait until he was 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, and you still don't have nothing to show for it.
But this is what's holding a lot of people back.
Tell me what it is.
Just this is one thing: discipline. Because the government issue a lot of money back out on people's taxes. Some people get 10,000, 5,000. And with the stimulus check that they issue people out, if you would have took that stimulus check, that $1,200, and put it in the Apple when the government issued that check today, you would have $4,000, $4,000 to $5,000, just off of the free money that the government gave you. But people were too busy. I want to buy this, so they went to the club and they went and did X, Y, and Z. So I think that is when people get their money, what do they do with it? Because when wealthy people get their money, they look for assets to buy. When the poor people get their money, they look for liabilities to buy. And if you look into the habits, the financial habits of each player, then you will understand the difference.
Wow. So you're saying that it's not that we don't have income, we don't have revenue in our communities, Willie. Is that we don't have discipline? Yeah,
because if somebody says, I don't have any income, show me your taxes. Show me if it's a zero on there. You're right. You're absolutely right. But I find it hard to believe that everybody got a zero on their taxes. So if you got money on your taxes, then you get money. You just do what you want to do with the money. Just say that. Don't say you don't have. Just say you don't want to do.
Okay, so because you can come from that. So Willie, do you think that because of the way you come up, do you think that was the reason why you became very disciplined?
I think it played a part. I mean, when your stomach is growling for so long and you don't eat, and then once you get a little bit of money, I'm gonna hold on to that $10 for 160 days. You feel me?
Okay,
I'm trying to hold on.
So talk to me, Willie, about that 8-day period that you just didn't get nothing to eat. What happened during that time?
So I was in a relationship at the time too, and it was just like I just had a partner that was just wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? She really wasn't there for me, which I didn't. It wasn't her problem. It was mine. That's just the way that I think. It's my, when things happen to me, I look at the role that I played in my own demise with this happening. And I was just like, when I get back on my feet, I just want to do some things different. I just want to do some things different. And if I can just get me a place to stay, I don't got to have the Louis, the Gucci, the Finley. I don't got to put 28s on the truck. I ain't got to get speakers and a paint job. If I can just get a roof back over my head, I'm going to be unstoppable.
And that's what it was.
Yes,
What
sir.
do you think contributed to you being without food for those 8 days? What do you think contributed to it?
The lack of money, no food. You know, because a lot of people say, well, money ain't everything. It's about what's on the inside and the visualization. People are fooling themselves. In this world, like you get on a rocket and go to Mars, you don't need money in Mars. Fine, I give it to you. But here in the United States, or in the United Kingdom, or in Europe, or in China, Southeast Asia, you need money. The more money you have, the more opportunities you have. That's just the bottom line. And a lot of people try to stay away from that because they don't want that responsibility. Some people don't even want a lot of money because if they get a lot of money, then they got to manage a lot of money and they don't want to mess it up.
Wow. Okay. So Willie is giving us some good insight here. A lot of people don't want to have money because
I can't hear you.
a lot of people don't want to have income or money because they don't want to deal with the management of it. Okay. So a lot
Okay,
of
now I can't hear you.
can you hear me now? Okay, we
I
hear.
don't know what happened. Let me see.
I can hear you, Willie. I can hear you. So while he's
Yo, okay.
okay, so once again, we are in a position. Willie is telling us that we have to get ourselves in position.
Okay, I can't hear you. I don't know what happened.
Okay, okay. What I'll do is I'll send you a text, Willie. I'll call you. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we can help ourselves by.
Hey, so I'm about to try this. I'm about to try to leave back and come right back in.
Okay, cool.
I'm about to try to do that real quick.
So
I got
once
you.
again, ladies and gentlemen, we can actually help ourselves by actually establishing and putting in place things that we can do. Okay, one, you can stop making excuses for yourself. You're in control of what you do. Two, what you can do is bet on yourself. What can you do? What does that mean to bet on yourself? What that means is that you can actually go to the library, go get a degree, study your craft, find out what you're passionate about. Okay. Three, surround yourself with people who are going in the same direction as you. Okay. I'll say that again. One, quit making excuses. Two, bet on yourself.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, that's all right. Two, bet on yourself. Three, surround yourself with people who are going in the direction that you're going. And only because they tell you no, that doesn't mean that you can't do it. Willie said it. He said he went to some people, well, I'm assuming they were his friends, and they said, no, we ain't doing that. But that didn't stop him. That just propelled him and gave him that fire to get to Paris. Because if they would have told him, yeah, he would have never went to Paris.
Yeah.
He would have never had that experience. He would have never bet on himself. He would have never pulled him. See, when you fall, my mentor says, if you're going to fall, Willie, fall forward. Because if you fall forward, that means you're going to do a push-up and you're going to get stronger.
Yeah.
So that's what he said. He said, fall forward.
I got one for that one too. I be following a lot of Les Brown. I've probably seen every video he has. And he always say, if you fall, make sure you fall on your back. Because if you look up, you can get up.
Yeah, if you look up, you can get up. And so Willie is telling us and giving us examples on how he created generational wealth for himself. Now, Willie, I know you got this bright son of yours that I'm going to recruit, because I'm about to bring him on. Let me show you something.
Oh,
hold on. Before you bring him on and the whole world knowing, I want to make sure that I get this contract signed. You got one that you got to e-sign because I want him to work for me. I want him to work with me. I'm working for his company. This guy who he ready to bring on, I already know what he ready.
I got you.
Okay. So we're talking about generational wealth, and not only does Willie facilitate this for himself, he also facilitates this for his son. Willie, can you kind of talk to us about the young people, the kids stock that you use to train kids?
I will. So that's why I brought him in. Come here, Jane. Here. Come here. It's okay.
Junior, I'm going to work for Junior.
Say hi, Junior.
Hi. This is
Okay.
generational wealth, Junior.
Okay, so get Junior. What are we?
Men's.
What do we stand for?
Basic.
What else?
Wealth.
Let me see your muscles. Okay, give me 2 good stocks to invest in.
Apple and Amazon.
Okay, what does Apple do?
Makes a.
What do they make?
iPads and home computers.
Okay, what does Amazon do?
Deliver stuff.
Okay, what happens if you don't invest into Apple and Amazon?
They be homeless.
Do you want to be homeless? Okay, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Entrepreneur.
What else?
Investor.
That's a good boy. Give me a kiss. There we go.
All right. So once again, we have my future CEO that I'm going to be working for. That's my retirement plan. That's Willie and that's our retirement plan. Is that right, Willie? So
Basically.
once again, and I want and Willie, if you allow me to say this, he's instilling into the next generation generational wealth about something that he did not do. Okay, he went through all of those things and he didn't have that. So once again, the cavalry ain't coming, the creek is rose and the levee is given away. That young man couldn't be no more than 7 years old, 8 years old.
6. He's 6.
6 years old, and he knows Amazon. He don't know about the latest booty shaking. He don't know about the latest dances. He knows about the latest stocks. This is how we create generational wealth. This is really what it's really about. When you begin to make changes in your own personal life, it affects the people that is around you. And it should affect your family. First and foremost, they say in the church that ministry starts in the home before it goes abroad. Well, guess what? Willie is telling you an example. Not his kids ain't up here using profane languages. He ain't up here trying to figure using a rap song. He's talking about something that he can create wealth in. His teacher can't take that away from him. Okay, nobody can tell him that stocks is something that he don't know. He can look on the computer and see it. It's tangible. It's physical. So Willie, we thank you for not just being a good businessman. He's actually practicing what he's preaching, because guess what? You told us out of your own mouth, Willie, that the family is the beginning of this generational wealth thing. And guess what you did? We didn't say, hey, we was going to bring him on. I knew that Willie had a son and everything, but I didn't know we was going to bring him on. But guess what? He brought him on the show, and he said that what you do for yourself will affect your kids. Mm-hmm. And this is what winning is all about. To me, that's what success is. Mm-hmm. When you can transfer that to your kids. And so you're not just talking about it, you're about that lifestyle. So once again, we salute this brother. There's no reason why we shouldn't salute it, because he could be a menace and tearing up our communities and killing and drug dealing and all those things that we celebrate these other brothers for. But here we got a brother who then came out and then done it the right way. And guess what? We celebrate me. So Willie, just a couple of quick questions for you.
Okay.
Talk about your youth program that you're teaching young kids how to do what?
So I'm teaching them how to understand the stock market.
Okay.
I'm teaching them how to understand the stock market, because Warren Buffett, I don't know if you did any research on Warren Buffett. You know what Warren Buffett is, don't you?
Yeah, yes.
Warren Buffett made his first investment at 11 years old. He made his first investment at 11 years old. And with investing, the earlier you get started, the better. And you can download the investment calculator and see that $5,000 invested, right now, if you let that compound, put it in something like the S&P 500 or an index that mirrors the S&P 500, we're talking about 300,000 by the time your kid is 30. 400,000 by the time your kid is 30. And this is just with a one-time investment of $5,000. You don't have to add nothing to it. You ain't got to manage it. You ain't got to do nothing else. Put it into the S&P 500 and forget about it. Go ahead and live your life. And when your child, your son or your daughter gets 30, they got that money. They can go to college with it. They can buy a house with it. They can pretty much do whatever it is that they want to do with it, because I feel that we got to stop sending our kids to the slaughterhouse. Now, I call the slaughterhouse basically the educational institution. Now, education, the institution isn't bad, but when you got to borrow out these loans at this ridiculous interest and it's compounding over the times that you got to pay it back, you're gonna be your whole life paying back, a student loan. And what does that give you? A better chance in life, a better chance of getting hired. Like you said, if I'm a go into 50,000 in debt, I'm gonna let that be a business loan. I'm gonna go get a double, live in one side, rent the other side out, because I'd rather go in debt on myself where I can create some generational wealth versus going in debt on student loans. Because when you die, that degree dies with you. That property that you got, when you die, that gets passed on to your children. That stock, I talked to a couple that got into Amazon at $40 a share. Amazon $3,200 a share. When they die eventually, that's going to go to their children, and their children go keep it going. And when that died, that goes to their children. So we gotta stop putting our all into these degrees and into these jobs, because both die with you when you get out of here. Okay. If you're gonna work hard for something that you can pass on to your children, when you check out, or in the event you check out early, because tomorrow ain't promised.
All right. So once again, Willie is bringing up a good point. He's saying bet on yourself. It's okay to learn how to discipline, because when you go get that degree, you get a degree in psychology, they're going to say, okay, what discipline were you in? That's the discipline. Some doors you can get into because you have a discipline. You have trained your mind to think a certain way, or you're thinking a certain way, but you got to use it to your advantage. Okay. Mm-hmm. Whatever you're doing, you got to bet on yourself. That's the prerequisite. That's the common denominator. It doesn't matter if you're going to school, or if you're going to be an entrepreneur, or if you're going to do whatever you got to do, you have to bet on yourself. You got to. Because if you don't bet on yourself, then guess what? Ain't nobody going to bet on you. Mm-hmm. That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. If you don't bet on yourself, nobody's going to bet on you. The cavalry is not going to come. The creek is rose and the levee is giving way. It's up to us to save us. And so when we're talking about building up our community, Willie, what did you think? Just give me three things that we can do to build up our community today. We can do this today.
Fix your credit.
Fix your credit.
Live off of 50% of your income.
50% of your income.
Stay out of bad debt. If you're not going into debt over a business that you're trying to start or real estate, don't do it.
Hey, fix your credit. You say that again, Willie? Fix your credit.
Fix your credit. Don't go. Stay out of bad debt.
Okay, bad debt.
And what else was it?
No, you only told me. Fix your credit, stay out of bad debt, and don't go into invest into good, and don't have bad debt. Fix your credit. And I got one. Bet on yourself.
There you go. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's throw it in there.
So those are the things that we need to do. I'm going to go back and I'm going to give you an outline of this stuff on our Facebook. Once again, Willie has told you. I'm scrolling his number at the bottom of your screen. He didn't really get into it, but I'm going to promote him. If you have a kid that is cutting up in school, you need to call Willie Dynamite. You need to call Willie. If you have a kid that's super talented, that understands mathematics, understands engineering, can do numbers, or if you have a kid that you want to just teach him the right way, call Willie, and he will set up you with the wealth factor. Okay, mm-hmm. You will have a login, a Zoom thing, all of that. He'll take care of you. Okay, if you are trying to get your credit straight, right? Call me up, but also you can call Willie. That's a part of the package in the wealth factor.
Yeah, okay? They can call me, they can call you, they can call somebody. I don't care who they call, but get it done. Well, I don't care who you call.
I'm going to say this, Willie. We promote people that is on the Wednesday wealth class. Okay, We want to promote the people who I know, who I put on here. Okay. One of the reasons why I did it like this is because I was doing some research and Soul Train. I was watching the show on Soul Train, and one of the things that Don Cornelius did, we think of him as a tool that where we were dancing, but Soul Train was actually a platform where businesses could come, and if you made it on Soul Train, you had arrived, and you could go out into the community and be successful. That was your platform. Well, this is what we want to create here. Once you on the show, we want to be able to where people, when they hit this show, the Generational Wealth Wednesday, they hit this show, they guaranteed they're going to get some business. So we want to promote the companies that is on the show. We want to promote the Wealth Factor. We want to promote, if you have a kid, what's the earliest they can start with the Wealth Factor, Willie?
I would say 11, like 11, 12, because it's like super, because it's not that hard. It's not that hard. A kid can understand it. You see my son, he got it. He can show you a good chart. You can show him a chart. He can tell you if it's good or bad.
Okay, so
at 6.
So once again, 6 years old, we can start your children at 6. You don't have to wait until you're 11. We can start it at 6. Willie did it at 24. So if our kids can start learning about stocks, real estate, wealth at 6 years old, we're gonna impact our communities, our talent, and our resources in our community, because I believe the greatest talent, the wealth that we have is the young people minds in our community.
Yeah,
that's the greatest wealth
that
we can ever have. There's 2 places where we can get it. We can get it from older people who have been around, and we can get it from young people who's untapped. I'll say it again. You can get it from older people who's been around, or you can get it from young people who have not been tapped into yet. So once again, this is how we are going to create generational wealth in our community. The Calvary is not coming. The creek is rose and the levee is given away. 2022, a lot of people have made goals. I brought Willie Dynamite on because I wanted to use his testimony as a platform. You cannot make excuses now. The grants ain't coming. The grants are not coming. Those are tricks and gimmicks and schemes. The government is not going to give you nothing for free. Those people that get those PPP loans, you're going to see what's going to happen in about another 3 or 4 months. It wasn't free. It's not free. And we're going to have a whole class on that. We're going to talk about that in a couple shows. But ain't nothing free. People who say stuff is free, I run from them because somebody is going to pay for it. Even when you was talking about the credit card, you was like, well, it was free. No, it wasn't, because you used it to pay your bills, and they was making interest off of
that.
Well,
I didn't mean
free,
but it's basically because you get rewarded by having good credit. I don't think a lot of people understand that concept. Yeah. American Express said, hey, we see you are responsible. We see that you pay your bills on time. Here's what we have for you. We're going to give you this card, and we just need you to use $5,000 in 3 months and just pay us back, and we're going to give you $1,000 worth of value.
But see, Willie, and to take it one step further, because I deal with credit and all that. So let me educate my people what happened. They take people like Willie with good credit, right, and extend those benefits and perks to him. But then they get people with bad credit, and they hit them over the head with 21%. Okay. So it's not free. Willie is benefiting from what American Express does because he's been a good steward. But there's a group of people that American Express hits over the head at the 21%, and that's what allows Willie to get to where he want to go. Okay, because like my grandmother said, use what's between those 2 ears, and you can get to where you want to go. That's what we have to do. We got to get a community of 700 scores so that we can all do what Willie did. There's too many of us looking for stuff that's free that don't pay their bills, in survival mode, happy about it, thinking that the government going to take care of them, and the government will, but it will be at the expense of another group of people. That's all I'm saying.
And to add to that, for the people that says that they're in survival mode, you're gonna always be in survival mode. You've been in survival mode the last 20 years. Where does the you see what I'm saying? Like nothing is gonna come to put you out of survival mode if you've been in survival mode for the last 20 years. Your habits got you in survival mode.
That's it.
So you got to change those habits to get out of survival mode. And once you change them habits, it's this simple. Your rent, bills, everything that you pay shouldn't be more than 50% of your income.
Wow.
Of that 50% that's left, you want to take that 20%. That's your going to the club. That's your going to the movies. That's your dating. That's your whatever. That 30% is what you need to invest. When I say invest, that means business, stock, real estate, your credit. Get your credit fixed with that 30. Now, if you really want to get ahead, here's what the wealthy people do. They live off of 25% of their income.
Wow.
And then
25% of your
25%. And then they take that other 25%, they go on trips, they go buy Gucci, Louis Vuitton, they go out and enjoy themselves. But that other 50% that's left, they invest 50% of their income into an investment. When I say investment, I mean specifically not something that you can manifest and throw out. No, stocks, real estate, build your credit, start a business. That's it right there. That's it.
That's it. We're giving it to you now. We're giving it to you for free.
For free. Facts. Well, they gotta come see you to get their credit done. So you know what I mean? And I know you're gonna look out for them.
Yeah. So even when we're doing this tonight, this is what I've learned, and we're ready to close out. I teach a group of people, Willie, and I've been teaching. When you first start off in business, you should risk and reward. That's what you start off. Okay, what are you doing? But one of the things that we don't talk about in our community, and this is what businesses that are coming up in our community, this is what they talk about. Mm-hmm. It's called opportunity cost. Mm-hmm. This is where the difference is in our community.
Yeah.
This is why other countries other people, other nationalities can come into our Black communities and open up a business and thrive. The question is because they don't look at it as risk and reward. They beyond that. They look at opportunity costs. The wealthy, and this is what Rich Dad, Poor Dad don't tell you. This is what these rich guys don't tell you. This is what the Jay-Z's don't understand what they got. It's called opportunity costs. And what opportunity costs is, what are you doing compared to what you can be doing? And that's what the difference is. When you went over to Paris, you could have been here, but you went to Paris because the opportunity presented itself for you to go. It costs you more to stay here than it costs you to go to Paris. Yep. So this is where we are at. Ain't nothing for free. The opportunity cost is what is you going to get compared to what are you going to be doing. Bet on yourself. It is more expensive for you not to bet on yourself, Willie, than for you to do what you're doing. I salute you. Because guess what?
Appreciate you.
You took an opportunity, and you could have been somebody who we paying taxes on in prison. And $50,000 a year for a free, that water that you're drinking will be given to you for free, and we paying for it.
Yeah.
So we paying for it.
Right.
But what? The opportunity that you took, we salute you. I want to promote what you got. Ladies and gentlemen, Willie Dynamite. Willie, do you want to have any last words before I give you your last promotion?
So I would just tell them if they want to follow me on Instagram, follow me at King Willie with 2 E's on the Willie. And I want them to watch this and not just go back and lay down and just continue doing the other BS that they've been doing. Take these things that we're giving you on this whole channel and apply it. Because knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. So you can read the whole Rich Dad collection, which I have. But if you don't go out and do none of the stuff that you read, it doesn't matter. You're in the same boat as a person that didn't even read the book.
Wow. So he's saying use it as tools to get you where you want to go. The cavalry ain't coming, ladies and gentlemen. The creek done rolls. The levee is giving way. It's too much pressure. It didn't give away. It's up to you to save you. Today is the day that you got to bet on yourself. If you're going to make a New Year's resolution, make this up today. Say, hey, today I'm going to start betting on myself. That's the New Year's resolution. Bet on yourself. If you bet on yourself, you can lose weight. You can get good credit. You can get your first home. You can start your own business. But more so than that, you can deal with the people telling you no, telling you that you're not good enough. I'm telling you, call me Uncle Peter from here on out. Uncle Peter said, the cavalry ain't coming. The creek done rose. The levee is giving way. It's up to me to save me. And if you don't save yourself, guess what? You need to be following Willie Dynamite. He will encourage you. He will put you on the right path. He will help you get your credit straight. He will help you invest into different things that it will help you personally. There's no more reason why you can't do it. I didn't say that you got to have $10,000 either. I said that you got to start somewhere. Start with the person in the mirror, you. The coffee is not coming. The creek is rose. The levee is giving way. Willie, I thank you for coming out and teaching us today that you can bet on yourself and win. You can bet on yourself and win. Just make sure that I get Junior. I want to come and work for his company because he's starting early. So I know his company ain't going under. So I can bet on him. I can bet on Junior. I'm gonna bet on Junior. So,
I'm all in on him right now.
Yeah, you're all in on him. So once again, he's talking about it. Willie is talking about it. Not only is he talking about it, but he's actually preaching it. He brought his son on the show. His son knows what stocks to buy. Willie said 12 years old, but we see his son is 6. So we starting at 6, Willie. So anybody who has kids that want to learn how to do stocks, if you want to learn how to do stocks, you want to learn how to do the real estate, you want to learn how to do those, call that number on the bottom, 317-308-9403. Leave a message, leave a text, call him, let him know the wealth factor. He has different times that they sign up. So it's not for everybody. Everybody ain't going to sign up. But when he has open enrollment, you better be getting your name in there because he's going to close it. And when it's closed, it's closed. You can't call me and I can't call Willie and say, hey, Willie, could you get him in because they know me? Nope, we ain't doing it. Yeah. Calvary ain't coming. The creek and roads and levee give away. We ain't doing it.
Yeah.
It's up to you to save you. If you're serious about it, if you want to get out of the rat race, if you want to get out of survival mode, call Willie, and he will help you. He done it himself. There's nobody who can teach you something that they haven't done themselves. He started off from zero, and he did it. He's here today. He then went to Paris. He started off in the hood. There's nothing else that he can show you. Okay? It's up to you to save you. Take advantage of this opportunity so that you can bet on yourself. It's up to you to save you. The cavalry is not coming. The creek and rose. The levee is giving way. Once again, thank you, Willie, for coming out. Thank you for supporting. We want to support you, Willie. Anybody that wants some of this information, I'm going to post it on my Facebook. Anything that Willie sends, I'm going to put it on my Facebook Live. We're going to be able to do it. You can also follow us on YouTube. If you couldn't get on Facebook, share this on YouTube. Get us on YouTube. Like us on YouTube. We'll forward it to you. We'll follow it with you. Anything that you need in dealing with stocks, real estate, wealth factor is the place where you should be. Willie, it should be an uptick. If they don't come, you can't say we didn't tell them.
Hey, that's the only thing I can do is build it. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Build it. So, like I said, thank you once again, Willie, for coming out.
All right, thanks for having me on.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing me to come into your house once again on a Wednesday for 1 hour to talk about how you can benefit yourself, how you can benefit your kids. If you didn't share this, you're being selfish because guess what? There's somebody in your family that needs some money. There's somebody in your family that need their credit. And there's kids in your family that need to learn how to deal with stocks and bonds and real estate. So you can't say that there's nobody in the community doing it. We are doing it and we ain't no hole in the wall. You're going to come to us. You're going to get the best quality service as if you was going into the suburbs. It's up to us to save us now. So we want to create that opportunity. We want to fix your credit. Give us a call. You want to buy a home? Give us a call. If you want to get into the wealth factor and learn, you got somebody, a coach, that's what you need. Call Willie. Willie will coach you. And he might even take you to Paris with him when he go. Okay. So once again, thank you for Willie. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to come into your house. Once again, till next Wednesday, bet on yourself. The cavalry's not coming. The creek is rose. Levy is giving way. It's up to you to save you. Bet on yourself until next time.
All right.